Canada. It's not just a country filled with this, and this. It's a land of openness, like really open. Open roads that stretch for miles, open mountains that seem to go on forever, and open cities that breathe with space and freedom. But that openness is only the beginning of what makes Canada extraordinary. Today, I'll take you on a journey to experience the true essence of Canada, exploring its most breathtaking destinations, discovering hidden gems, and uncovering the rich cultural highlights that make each place truly special. But first, I'll tell you some interesting facts about Canada, and then explore its most interesting places that you won't want to miss. Did you know Canada's name comes from the Indigenous word Kanata, meaning village or settlement? It's a place where history, culture, and stunning landscapes come together perfectly. Spanning 6 time zones, Canada is the second largest country in the world. Its coastline is the longest on the planet, so massive that exploring it all might feel never-ending. And within this rugged land are over 2 million lakes, more than the rest of the world combined. Water is a big part of Canada's identity, shaping much of its geography and lifestyle. Driving across this vast country is an adventure in itself, especially along the Trans-Canada Highway, which stretches an impressive 7,800 kilometres, making it one of the longest national highways in the world. Here's something surprising. Despite its massive size, most of Canada's population lives in the south. Over 80% of Canadians are found within 150 kilometres of the US border, which also happens to be the world's longest undefended border, stretching a peaceful 8,891 kilometres. But Canada's contrasts are part of its wonder. Head north and you'll find a completely different world. The north is wild and remote, where polar bears roam freely in Churchill, Manitoba, known as the polar bear capital of the world. In the Canadian Arctic, you'll come across Inuksuks, ancient stone landmarks that Indigenous peoples used to guide travellers across the vast frozen tundra. And while Canadians are known for their politeness and love of nature, they also have a serious sweet tooth. Canada produces 71% of the world's maple syrup, and Canadians eat more donuts than any other country. So if you're a donut lover, you'll feel right at home here. Now, let's explore the best places to visit in Canada and uncover the incredible experiences that await in this beautiful country. In the wilderness of British Columbia's Wells Grey Provincial Park, Helmcken Falls is a breathtaking 141-metre cascade that many tourists surprisingly miss. Carved by ancient glaciers over 200,000 years ago. This waterfall slices through volcanic rock, creating a stunning canyon. It's the kind of place that showcases Canada's wild, untouched beauty. And because it's off the beaten path, you can really soak in the peacefulness, surrounded by dense forests and wildlife. Speaking of waterfalls, let's head to one of the most famous in the world, Niagara Falls. While Helmcken Falls gives you a quiet, intimate experience, Niagara is all about sheer power and scale. Millions come to see it every year, but there's more to it than just being a tourist hotspot. The indigenous peoples, especially the Iroquois, saw Niagara as a sacred place long before it became a popular destination. It was actually formed over 12,000 years ago by melting glaciers, and even today the falls are slowly eroding the rock, moving about a foot each year. By the late 1800s, Niagara was one of the first places in the world to generate hydroelectric power. And today it straddles the border between Canada and the US with 3 massive waterfalls: Horseshoe, American, and Bridal Veil Falls, pouring over 3,000 tons of water every second. You can get right up close on the Maid of the Mist boat tour or explore the tunnels behind the falls carved into the rock. At night, the falls light up in dazzling colours that reflect off the mist, creating an almost otherworldly view. And if you visit in winter, it's even more magical. The falls partially freeze, turning into a frozen wonderland with icicles and frosted cascades. The fertile Okanagan Valley right in front of you might be surprising, but don't worry, you're still in Canada. Before we head to the next stunning destination, let me quickly show you a side of the country that's a little more laid back and cultivated. Known as Canada's top wine region, the Okanagan Valley has a Mediterranean-like climate perfect for growing grapes. With over 200 wineries, including those making the famous Canadian ice wine, there's plenty to enjoy. Okanagan Lake stretches for 135 kilometres, with stunning views and activities like boating and cycling. Rolling vineyards, orchards and mountains frame the shimmering lake. It's a different kind of beauty from Canada's rugged wilderness, but just as breathtaking. And if you're up for a short detour, Spotted Lake near Osoyoos is a hidden gem, a surreal site where mineral-rich pools create unique patterns in the summer heat. It's a subtle reminder that even this relaxed valley has its share of surprises. Moving into the Thompson Valley, the landscape shifts to a semi-arid climate, with rolling hills giving way to golden grasslands and distant mountains. The Thompson River winds through this dry region, offering scenic overlooks, perfect for solitude and adventure. Home to the Secwepemc people for thousands of years, the valley shelters unique wildlife like bighorn sheep. Kamloops, where the North and South Thompson rivers meet, blends city life with desert-like surroundings. Once a key stop on the Canadian Pacific Railway, Kamloops has deep ties to British Columbia's fur trade and colonial history. The Trans-Canada Highway cuts through mountains and valleys, offering breathtaking views, especially at sunset when the sky ignites with colour. Meanwhile, the Caribou Highway showcases the vivid, semi-arid landscape. As pickup trucks kick up dust along quiet gravel roads, this hidden gem offers a true taste of rural British Columbia. Rugged, tranquil, and undeniably captivating. The Canadian Rockies aren't just another mountain range, they're like stepping into nature's workshop. Across Alberta and British Columbia, each park has its own personality, from the jagged peaks and glaciers to forests that seem endless. It's less about what you see and more about how the Rockies make you feel. Raw, wild, and completely alive. Banff National Park is often called the crown jewel of the Canadian Rockies, and it's easy to see why. Imagine the turquoise waters of Lake Louise and Moraine Lake reflecting the snow-capped peaks. Established in 1885, Banff is Canada's oldest national park, created to encourage tourism along the Canadian Pacific Railway. The iconic Banff Springs Hotel, a grand castle in the Rockies, has been welcoming travellers for generations. Beyond the scenery, Banff holds deep cultural significance for Indigenous peoples, with places like Lake Minnewanka sacred for centuries. Wildlife thrives here. You might spot grizzly bears, elk, or bighorn sheep. For breathtaking views, take the Banff Gondola up Sulphur Mountain to see the surrounding mountain ranges. The park's cliffs, made of sedimentary rock, reveal millions of years of Earth's history. At the heart of it all is the town of Banff. A charming spot where modern comforts meet the wild beauty of the Rockies. And if you're ready for more, the Icefields Parkway, one of the most scenic roads in the world, will lead you past glaciers and dramatic landscapes on the way toward our next destination. The wild beauty of Jasper. This national park is the largest in the Canadian Rockies and feels wilder and more remote compared to its neighbour. One of the park's standout features is the Athabasca Glacier, part of the Columbia Icefield, one of the largest ice fields in North America. It's shrinking every year due to climate change, offering a first-hand look at its impact. You can even walk on the glacier during special tours for an unforgettable experience. Keep an eye out for mountain goats, as this is one of the few places where you can spot them scaling cliffs. Close to Jasper Town, Athabasca Falls isn't the tallest, but its powerful waters, crashing through a narrow gorge, are truly awe-inspiring. Malign Lake, home to Spirit Island, is one of the most photographed spots in the Rockies, accessible only by boat, which adds to its remote charm. And with Jasper being a dark sky preserve, the clear, light pollution-free skies offer the perfect way to experience the wild beauty by day and the stars by night. If you're looking to go even further off the beaten path, Yoho National Park is where you'll discover a quieter, more hidden side of the Canadian Rockies. Tucked away on the western slopes, Yoho feels like a true hidden gem, with dramatic cliffs and towering waterfalls around every corner. The name Yoho, from a Cree word meaning awe and wonder, captures the park's magic. Highlights include Takakau Falls, and one of Canada's tallest waterfalls, and the natural bridge carved by the Kicking Horse River. History buffs will appreciate Kicking Horse Pass, which played a huge role in the construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway, helping unite the country. For those classic picture-perfect views, Emerald Lake is a must. Its turquoise water is stunning and one of the park's most iconic spots. But there's more. Yoho takes you back in time at the Burgess Shale, where 500 million-year-old fossils give us a glimpse of life on Earth at its very beginnings. And if it's peace and solitude you're after, you can't miss the trails around Lake O'Hara, offering pristine, untouched landscapes perfect for escaping into nature. In the Canadian Rockies, Kananaskis country may fly under the radar, but it's no less breathtaking. Here, nature feels wilder, more untouched, with rugged mountain ranges and peaceful alpine lakes offering a solitude that's hard to find in the more crowded parks. As you hike along the trails, you're rewarded with sweeping ridgelines, where bighorn sheep wander and grizzlies might make a rare appearance. When autumn sweeps in, the landscape shifts, painting the slopes with vibrant reds and golds set against the rocky peaks. Speaking of autumn, on the eastern side of Canada, Algonquin Provincial Park offers a completely different kind of wilderness. Dense forests hug serene lakes, but it's the colours that truly steal the show. The trees burst into brilliant shades of red, orange and yellow, transforming Algonquin into an unforgettable autumn tapestry. Yukon is one of those places that still feels truly wild. Tucked away in Canada's northwest, right next to Alaska, it's a vast, untamed land that's as remote as it gets. Covering nearly 500,000 square kilometres, Yukon is a place where you'll find some of the most dramatic landscapes in North America. Endless forests, towering mountains and glaciers that seem to go on forever. For many, Yukon is synonymous with adventure. In the winter, you can watch the northern lights dance across the sky, lighting up the darkness with brilliant colours. And in the summer, the midnight sun keeps the days going, giving you nearly 24 hours of daylight to explore. It's an experience unlike anything else. But it's not just about the natural beauty. Yukon's history is just as rich, especially when you think about the Klondike gold rush of the late 1800s. Thousands of people came here chasing fortune. But what they found instead was a deeper connection to the land, a sense of freedom that still defines the region today. Whether you're paddling down the legendary Yukon River, hiking through the remote and rugged Tombstone Territorial Park, or standing in awe at the glaciers of Kluane National Park, Yukon offers something special for anyone willing to embrace its wild beauty and storied past. And for those who want to push the adventure even further into the north, the Dempster Highway offers one of the most remote road journeys on the planet, an ultimate wilderness road trip. Stretching 700 kilometres from the Yukon into the Northwest Territories, it leads you through Arctic tundra, rugged mountain ranges and remote river valleys. Built in the 1970s, this engineering marvel cuts through some of the most isolated terrain in North America. In winter, it transforms into an ice highway, crucial for connecting northern communities. For true adventure, Thor Peak on Baffin Island is the ultimate challenge. With the world's tallest vertical drop, over a kilometre of sheer granite, it's one of the most extreme climbs. Those who conquer it are rewarded with unmatched views. Surrounding Thor Peak is Auyuatuk National Park, a rugged land of glaciers and fjords, home to the Inuit for centuries. Remote and untamed, this is where Canada's true north comes alive for the brave. Peggy's Cove is a place where time slows down. Nestled on the rugged shores of Nova Scotia, this tiny fishing village is known worldwide for its iconic lighthouse. Perched on ancient granite boulders shaped by glaciers millions of years ago, the lighthouse stands as a symbol of beauty and resilience. Life here feels simple, with colourful fishing boats bobbing in the harbour and quaint houses dotting the rocky shoreline. These granite rocks, weathered by the relentless Atlantic waves, add to the raw, natural beauty that defines Peggy's Cove. Since 1915, the lighthouse has guided sailors through these often turbulent waters. But beyond its iconic presence, there's a deeper connection here, a connection to the sea that's woven into the village's history and daily life. The rhythms of the ocean shape everything, from the crashing waves to the calm cove. Looking out over the vast Atlantic, it's easy to see why Peggy's Cove is one of Canada's most photographed spots. The dramatic views and peaceful simplicity of coastal life leave a lasting impression long after you've left. Further north lies L'Anse aux Meadows, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the only confirmed Viking settlement in North America. Over 1,000 years ago, Norse explorers from Greenland settled here, marking their farthest known exploration westward. The site, discovered in the 1960s, is a rare glimpse into the Viking Age, with reconstructed sod houses and archaeological evidence of early European settlement in the New World. The windswept coastline around L'Anse aux Meadows feels ancient and isolated, much like it did when those early explorers first landed. In Gros Morne National Park, Newfoundland's geological history truly comes to life. Carved by ancient glaciers, the park's fjords and towering cliffs create a landscape that's both breathtaking and incredibly rare. And yes, we're still in Canada. Even though Vikings and fjords might sound like Norway, this rugged beauty is all part of Canada's rich story. One of the park's most unique features is its exposed mantle rock. Thrust up from deep within the earth, a phenomenon you can only see in a few places worldwide. As a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Gros Morne is not just about stunning scenery, it's a window into Earth's early formation. The name Big Mountain captures the feeling of standing before its cliffs, alpine plateaus and fjords, where millions of years of history are etched into the rock. Speaking of geology, Alberta's Canadian Badlands reveal a landscape that feels almost otherworldly. The region's striking rock formations and towering hoodoos create a surreal atmosphere, like stepping into a different era. But it's not just the scenery that draws attention. This area is also a gold mine for paleontologists, home to one of the richest dinosaur fossil sites in the world. The Badlands serve as a vivid reminder of Earth's ancient past, with layers of history dating back millions of years. The Sea to Sky Highway isn't just a road, it's a journey from the ocean to the mountains, with every twist and turn revealing something new. Starting by the sea and climbing into the heart of the mountains, the landscape shifts dramatically with each bend. It's as though the scenery is telling a story, one of British Columbia's untamed beauty. Whether you're drawn to the rugged coastline, the towering peaks, or everything in between, this drive will leave you with lasting memories of some of Canada's most stunning views. Horseshoe Bay is where it all begins. Nestled on the coast of British Columbia, this quiet bay marks the start of the Sea to Sky Highway. With calm waters and mountains in the background, it's the perfect scene to kick off the journey. From here, ferries set off for the islands and the road winds north, pulling you toward the mountains ahead. A bit further up the road, you'll come to Squamish, often called the outdoor recreation capital of Canada, and it lives up to its name. Where the mountains meet the sea, you'll find the Stowamus Chief, one of the largest granite monoliths in the world. This towering rock draws rock climbers, hikers and kiteboarders looking for their next thrill. For the Squamish Nation, the Chief is a sacred site, and those who make the challenging 700-metre climb to the top are rewarded with breathtaking views of Howe Sound and the peaks that surround it. A short drive from Squamish brings you to Shannon Falls, a peaceful spot along the highway. At 335 metres, it's one of British Columbia's tallest waterfalls, with water tumbling down smooth granite cliffs fed by the melt from nearby mountains. The cool mist from the falls refreshes you, making it a perfect stop to stretch your legs and breathe in the fresh mountain air before continuing on. As you head further north, the road leads you to Brandywine Falls, a quieter, more hidden gem. This 70-metre waterfall plunges into a dramatic basalt canyon where ancient volcanic rock formations stand in stark contrast to the rushing water. Framed by dense forest, Brandywine Falls highlights the geological history of the region, offering a moment of serenity before you venture into the next stretch of your journey. As you travel along the Sea to Sky Highway, you'll reach Whistler, a top mountain resort and a key venue for the 2010 Winter Olympics. But Whistler isn't just for winter. In summer, it's all about mountain biking, hiking and festivals. The massive Whistler Blackcomb Mountains offer year-round adventure from skiing to alpine hikes. Once known as Alta Lake, Whistler even gets its name from the whistling marmots that call the mountains home. Just outside of Whistler, you'll find the vast wilderness of Garibaldi Provincial Park. Named after Mount Garibaldi, an ancient volcano, the park is a paradise for backcountry hikers and campers. In late summer, the alpine meadows are covered in wildflowers, and trails like Panorama Ridge and Black Tusk offer breathtaking views of glaciers and rugged mountain scenery. These trails don't just provide stunning vistas, they take you deep into nature, where the wilderness feels untouched and peaceful. A bit further along the highway, the Joffre Lakes reveal some of the most spectacular glacial-fed waters in Canada. The lakes are famous for their striking turquoise colour, caused by glacial silt that reflects the sunlight, giving the water its vibrant hue. As you hike along the trail, you'll pass 3 different lakes, each more beautiful than the last, with towering mountains as the backdrop. It almost feels like stepping into another world. At the end of the trail, you'll come face to face with the Mathieu Glacier, the very source of the Joffre Lake's stunning colours. This massive glacier, framed by jagged peaks, is a reminder of the raw, untamed wilderness that defines British Columbia's interior. It's a powerful sight, showing just how much the land has been shaped by the forces of nature over time. Canada's landscapes are vast and breathtaking, but it's in the cities where another side of the country's charm comes to life. A blend of nature, history and culture that makes each city unique. In Vancouver, nature isn't just nearby, it's woven into everyday life. Towering mountains and the Pacific Ocean surround the city, giving it a wild, untamed feel. Cycle along Stanley Park's seawall or hike trails just minutes from downtown, and you'll see how adventure is always within reach. Then there's Toronto. Where vibrant energy fills the streets. Cultures from all over the world converge in neighbourhoods like Kensington Market, with its street art and diverse food stalls. In the Distillery District, old warehouses have become trendy cafes and galleries. And towering above it all, the CN Tower symbolises Toronto's constant growth and ambition. Canada's capital, Ottawa, brings the country's history to life. Parliament Hill is a symbol of governance. But in winter, the Rideau Canal transforms into the world's longest skating rink, showing off Ottawa's playful side. Further east, Montreal blends French and English influences effortlessly. Strolling through old Montreal's cobblestone streets feels like stepping back in time. But the city's music festivals, modern art and food scene keep it vibrant and forward-thinking. From Mount Royal, you can see how history and modern life come together. And finally, Quebec City feels like stepping into a fairy tale. Its walled old town, crowned by the Chateau Frontenac, offers a glimpse of Europe in North America. As you wander its beautifully preserved streets, it's easy to feel like time has stood still, inviting you to explore and soak in the atmosphere. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through the vast openness of Canada. From the thunderous power of Niagara Falls to the serene beauty of the Canadian Rockies, the untouched wilderness of Yukon, and the breathtaking vistas along the sea-to-sky highway, we hope you've been inspired to explore the diverse wonders that make this country so special. If you enjoyed this journey with us, don't forget to hit that like button, check out other amazing travel videos on our channel, and subscribe for more. Discover the world, explore the extraordinary. See you in the next adventure.